Hi, welcome to Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. We're going to introduce you to just a handful of our adoptable animals today, and volunteer Tammy Benson has our first guest sitting with her. This is Tonka, and Tonka is a cat that came to us as a stray. We do get a lot of stray animals here. We're estimating him to be approximately 1 to 2 years old. He has a beautiful coat. He is white with orange tabby. And we have named him Tonka. I think it's a great name because when I look at him, I just think like little boys in Tonka trucks, and I can see him hanging out with some kids, playing with some toys and chasing little cars around. So I think it's a very suitable name for him. He is color-coded orange, which means he's individually average. He's your typical cat. He's not hard to handle, not really requires a cat-savvy owner. He should be great for any family, even if you are a first-time cat owner. He is, relatively young, so he still has that playfulness to him, but he's a very affectionate cat. He's very easy to handle. Picking him up, he's comfortable sitting on a lap. He's not really trying to get down. Right now, Tonka is in the early phases of getting a little bit of the sniffles, so he is just maybe a little bit more relaxed than he normally would be, just because he's not feeling 100%. But once he gets better, I suspect that he will be a little bit more active than he has been the last day or so. He is being treated for that. A lot of cats get colds while they're here. That is one of the main reasons why we encourage all visitors to make sure that they're cleaning their hands if they are touching animals between each animal cage, and we highly encourage people not to interact and touch the animals unless you're serious about adopting, to prevent animals like Tonka from getting those little colds. If you were to apply for him before the end of July, you could adopt him for our Maryland 2000 price. That adoption fee would be $15.50. After that, it goes back to normal, and you could take this guy home for $97.50, which is still a deal in any adoption facility. You can visit us here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. This is Sugar Bear, and he is definitely one of the most handsome cats on the adoption floor. He's got this great gray and white coat with some great markings on his face, and then he's just got those big round eyes. He definitely, he's always kind of alert. He's just, has a very striking face that kind of draws you to him. And he is one of the more active cats on the floor. He's definitely full of energy. He comes right up to the front of the cage. He seeks attention, but we have color-coded him as purple. And so sometimes that means that the cats on the adoption floor would probably do best in a cat-savvy home, so that you can read their body language, understand what they're wanting from you and how they're feeling. They sometimes have short fuses, so he's going to be cool with being cuddled and handled until he's not. So you want to make sure that you're okay with that type of behavior. Sometimes it's just situational. Here in the shelter, it's a difficult and stressful environment to be stuck in a confined space where you don't really have a way to escape visitors. There's lots of noises and smells. So sometimes, that's just creating that kind of, he's hitting his threshold a little sooner than he might in a home, but just something to consider. He is right now being really, understanding, hanging out on Tammy's lap, not having a problem. But again, he's super alert, looking around. He's going to be more of the playful cat. So if you're looking for that, then maybe Sugar Bear is going to be a good family member for you. He's already been altered. He is current on all of his vaccinations. He's been microchipped. All he needs now is to find a new forever family to take him home with them. Again, just like I said with Tonka, all the adult cats are adopted for a fee of $97.50. You can visit Sugar Bear or any of our adoptable animals. So the hours are Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 10 to 5, Wednesday and Thursday from 12 to 8, and on Saturday we are open from 10 to 4. Our next two guests are Raven and Onyx, and they've been with us for a while, but this is their first time being on the show because they're a little bit on the shy side, and I wanted to give them an opportunity to start to feel more comfortable before I took them out of their cage environment and moved them somewhere else, just because it can be scary for the animals to leave their one familiar space in the shelter and come out into a much larger space with new noises and you know, different type of situation for them. So these guys did come in together. They were not adopted from us, so I'm not sure, you know, exactly their history, whether they're litter mates or not, but they look pretty similar to me. They have similar texture fur and they're the same age, so they could be litter mates. They were surrendered to us, which is something that I have seen quite a few times, where an adult child leaves pets in the parent's home, and then the parents don't want to care for them, so then they ultimately bring them here. So to identify the difference in these girls, sitting on my lap, the all black one is Onyx, and she is I would say her fur is the softest. She's a little bit more petite. Raven is a little bit more solid, more muscly. She definitely is the shyer of the two, the one that's, you know, a little bit nervous, kind of hangs in the back of the cage. She is the one that would definitely do better having Raven with her in a new home. Raven on Tammy's lap is the one with the black and white. And in her cage, she is a little social butterfly. She wants attention all the time, will walk right up to you, loves to be petted. She is very quick to purr. She is, again, a little bit more solid. She weighs a little bit more. They both really love to be petted. And I have some apps on my phone that are, you know, cat games, and they both love to sit and watch that. It's like two little kids sitting in front of the TV. So they're really into that. Raven is also a little bit more playful, just because she's a little bit more confident, I think. We don't have these guys listed as a bonded pair, but they would definitely be better together, especially going into a new environment, knowing that they're a little bit on the shy side. The previous owners did indicate that they were shy in their home, that they were friendly and able to handle and things like that, and that Onyx is more of a lap cat. If you were to adopt them together, you do get a $20 reduction in your adoption fee. You can visit them here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. This is Callie number 2, not to be confused with our large senior cat, Callie number 1. Even though she's been with us since the beginning of June, we're still kind of getting to know Callie, because she got sick, as many of the cats do, and so she's been off the adoption floor so that she could get treatment, and now she's better and she's back out and available for adoption. And so now the staff and volunteers are really getting to know kind of her personality. She is just under a year old, and she definitely has that, you know, forever kitten thing about her. She only weighs just over 5 pounds, so she's a petite girl. When you're getting cats that have that petite frame, it is important to really monitor their diet, because if you are overfeeding them, then the smaller framed cats can more easily become overweight. And then she could end up in a situation like Callie number 1, where you know, we are working really to get her plenty of exercise and to, you know, properly provide her with a good diet so that she can lose weight and be healthy. So it's easier if you don't get to that point rather than having to work backwards. She is very friendly. When I approached her cage, she's only been out on the adoption floor back from sick room for a couple of days. She comes right up to the front. She's, you know, talks to you a little bit. She was fine with me picking her up. I carried her out here just kind of like almost like football, and she was cool with it. She is curious, you know, she's still young, she wants to get into stuff. She too is color-coded orange, individually average, so just, you know, expecting a little bit more activity if you're taking home a younger cat as opposed to one of our seniors who tend to be a little bit more relaxed. All of our cats, again, go home already spayed or neutered. They're going to be current on their vaccines. They're going to get dewormer, flea and tick preventative. They're all microchipped before they go, and we also offer a free well visit to the vet. So you get all of that for a fee of just $97.50. which is a great deal. Just getting an animal altered is going to be significantly more than that. If you were to apply for any of our cats before the end of July, you could still get that Maryland 2000 adoption fee of $15.50. This is Prince, and he is being unusually quiet for himself. Probably because he's getting exactly what he wants, which is attention. In his cage, Prince is very vocal. He is hard to miss because he meows until he gets someone's attention. Once you open up that cage, he's so happy. He wants to play, he wants to be petted. Recently I saw a volunteer sitting on the edge of his cage, and he was just laying right up against their legs, and he was just on his side and getting petted and just in seventh heaven. So he is a good mix. He's very affectionate, but he's still also very playful. He did come in with a brother who was rescued. He was placed with a rescue organization who came looking for some cats. So he is used to being with another cat. Even in separate cages, they were housed next to each other, and they were still trying to play. So if you have a cat already in your home that needs a playmate, Prince would be an excellent option for that. He too is just under a year old, so he still has a lot of that kitten energy, but he's established his personality. He was brought to the shelter because people in the family developed allergies. He has been referred to as a lap cat. Again, things that we've seen here: playful, energetic, friendly, calm, able to handle, independent. He's just, an average cat, according to his previous owners. When he first got here, he definitely was a little shy and was color-coded yellow, but he is absolutely coming out of that and getting more comfortable here and showing his true self. He is always entertaining. If you talk to him, he kind of talks back until you open that cage up. He's very engaging, and I just don't understand why someone hasn't snatched him up, because in addition to having a wonderful personality, he's also a beautiful cat. One of the reasons that he has been here so long is because, like Callie too, he got sick, and now he's back healthy and available for adoption. And I'm hoping that with this second kind of appearance on the adoption floor, he'll be snatched up quickly. If you want to get to know Prince and have a little bit of a nice conversation with him, you can stop by and do it here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. If you have questions about any of the adoptable animals, you can always give us a call as well. We can tell you if they are still available. And the number that you would want to call is 301-600-1546. If you are not really into felines, maybe you're allergic, but you're on the market for a dog, stay tuned. After the break, we're going to introduce you to 5 of our adoptable canines.
Child abuse is not an isolated problem. It affects each of us, and it is only through each of us that child abuse can be prevented. Get involved. Call the Child Advocacy Center to find out how to help. 301-600-1758.
Welcome back. Our first canine is Simba, and he is a black and white pit bull mix. He is he's about a year old, so he is definitely a high energy dog. If you're looking for a couch potato, not this guy. Also, Simba would probably do better in a home that is dog savvy, maybe even a home that has had a pit bull or similar type breed before, just to understand that their types of energy level, their behavior, things like that. We have color-coded Simba as purple because he does have some things that he needs to work on. And he has a large profile with reports from various staff members and volunteers so that you know exactly the areas that he needs to focus on. All the dogs that are color-coded purple, generally we recommend that the children in the home be approximately 13 years old or older, just because we want to make sure that they can understand dog body language and can be respectful of a dog's space. And we also want to make sure that you know, if a strong dog who maybe jumps up on people is not going to knock over and hurt a small child, things like that. We have done a behavior assessment for Simba. One of the things that they noticed when they were doing that is that he strongly dislikes restraints. So this is not a dog that you can have, you know, use as lay on, use as a pillow, do lots of cuddling, things like that on. If he's not into that, you know, you want to definitely respect his space. He can become overwhelmed and uncomfortable in certain situations. He was very, very shy and just uneasy when he first arrived here. So we recommend doing a 2-week shutdown when you adopt a new dog. Simba would definitely benefit from that, just to get comfortable in a new situation. You don't want to take him out into a lot of public spaces until he feels comfortable with you, and you can provide that support if he feels scared. You also just want to make sure you're willing to take an animal home if you get them out into public and they definitely seem uncomfortable. He needs work with housebreaking. He needs some work with leash walking. He's a little difficult to walk. He pulls, he jumps. He can be a little grabby with his toys. He might not understand, you know, that you have the toy in your hand and he goes for the toy and accidentally gets your hand. Another reason to keep those kids a little bit older in the house. But if you're looking to add an energetic pit bull to your house, definitely come in and visit with Simba, but be sure that you're reading the entire profile. He has done meets with other dogs. So you can do that here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. This handsome guy is Braxton, and he's another one of the dogs that has made his way to us as a stray. We hold all of our dogs, or all of our stray animals, period, for a length of 5 days to allow owners a chance to come forward and claim them. After that, they then become property of the shelter, and then we will go about either finding them rescue placement or new homes via adoption, whatever we deem is most appropriate for those animals. We have Braxton down as a Shar-Pei mix, and he is approximately 1 to 2 years old. His color is not brown, is not chocolate, it's sable actually. And he weighs just over 50 pounds. He's about 55 pounds now. According to our behavior assessment, he does not keep his kennel clean. So he's a beautiful dog, but you want to make sure you're committed to house training him if you were to make him part of your family. He is friendly and excited. He jumps up, he barks in his kennel. When other dogs walk past him while he is in his kennel, he does have a bit of a negative reaction. Sometimes that's just a barrier issue. If you have an existing dog in your home, we always encourage you to bring your dog in and meet with ours just to see whether it's a situation that can work or if it's something that could be a dangerous possible situation for the animals there. He is difficult to obtain because he's jumpy and excited. He is difficult to walk because he not only does he pull very hard, but he also can jump up and things like that. I have also noticed that he's a bit of a marker. He will mark everything. So a harness might be really beneficial for him, just so that he's not pulling on his neck and possibly injuring that, but also just to give you more control. A lot of the harnesses that we use actually have clips on the front so that if they're doing a lot of pulling, it redirects their body. They don't like that, so then they start to kind of learn to walk more loosely without pulling and kind of in a straight line there for you. No serious issues with behavior or food aggression, but he does do a little bit of body blocking when you're taking that food away from him. So, you know, trying to keep young kids away from the food, you know, separating animals during feeding time. And he likes to be petted. So he's, you know, overall a great dog, like most of the dogs, you know, 99.9% of our dogs. But you do want to make sure that you are willing to provide him with proper training. Because he is an adult dog at 1 to 2 years old, his adoption fee would be $92.50. This is Bella, and she's one of the few puppies that we have on the adoption floor right now. She is approximately 7 months old, and she is just listed as a terrier mix. She's brindle. She is a small dog. Right now she's weighing 23 pounds. She was brought to us because the owners were unable to keep her in the home. That's all the information they gave. She is just one of the sweetest, cutest dogs that we have. She is color-coded orange. Normally puppies don't get color-coded orange. They're always green, but she's definitely a little sweeter, a little more relaxed, just super affectionate. So that earned her that denomination there. With all of our puppies, we do take up to 4 applications and choose the best fit for the dog. It is not a first come, first served situation. We want to make sure that we're providing, especially all of our animals, but especially our puppies, with a home that's committed to them. A lot of people get puppies when they're young, and then when they kind of realize that they didn't do the training required, it's a lot more work, they're larger now, they still don't know those basics, they bring them back. So we want to make sure that we're going to set her up with a home that's going to build her with a proper foundation. She is used to living, it says she does get along with other dogs. She's lived with men and women. She's lived with children from the ages of 2 to 10. They say she's playful, energetic, friendly, that she walks well on a leash, rides well in a car. She is not yet house trained, and we have seen that here as well, but they say she is used to being in a crate. Our behavior assessment lets us know that she's very friendly. When other dogs walk past her kennel, she either reacts favorably with a lot of what you're seeing right now, calm demeanor, tail wagging, interested, or she has no reaction at all. She's easy to obtain, but she can be a little shy. Sometimes needs some coaxing forward, and when she's walking, she can lag behind a little bit. So she's still young, just boosting her confidence while she's walking, and doing some training things will really help with that. No issues with food aggression. She willingly lets go of objects, and she's actually very gentle, not only with toys, but also with her treats, and she really enjoys being petted. So she's going to be a great dog for a family. There's really no family that she wouldn't acclimate well into. If you do have an existing dog in the home, again, we do really want you to bring your dog in and interact with Bella just to see if it's going to be a good match or not. Because she is under a year old, she is adopted for our puppy adoption fee, which is $150. This is dog. You might say, well, yes, that's obvious. That is a dog. Yes, this is a dog, but that is also his name. Dog is a very handsome tricolor pit bull mix. He is 1.5 years old, and he was surrendered to us. They didn't leave a reason down here for us, but that is the name that he came in with. He was named Dog, and when animals come into the shelter, we do not change their names unless they are offensive or otherwise detrimental to the adoption process. And he seems to recognize that that is, in fact, his name. So we are keeping that for him. He is another dog that is color-coded purple, so the general recommendation is that families with children 13 and up adopt these dogs that are color-coded purple, just because they can be very strong. Sometimes they have a lot of training that needs to be done. We want to make sure everyone in the home is safe, and that the dog is safe too, and not put in a situation where he or she might be set up to fail. According to our behavior assessment, dog does pretty well about keeping his kennel clean. He has been timid at times, which can also be why he is color-coded purple, just to kind of, you don't want to startle him, you don't want to jump up and be right in his face, things like that. So sometimes he's cautious in his kennel, sometimes he's very friendly. No reaction to other dogs walking past him while he's in his kennel. He's easy to obtain, like a lot of our pit bulls. He's strong, he's difficult to walk, pulls and jumps, so needs to work on that. A harness might be beneficial. And then bigger issues, he just, with his food aggression test, he just follows the dish. He doesn't want to give it up, but he is very vigorous about his eating, so we want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on that. And he willingly lets go of objects, but he's very intense about his play, so he's very into the toys, but he's gentle with them. They do say also that he likes to box. Boxers do this. They're kind of up like this. with their paws in the air, so that's something that he also does. No reactions handling his feet, loves to be petted, and then when you're handling his mouth, he becomes obviously uncomfortable. He's resisting, pulling away, things like that. So you just want to be cautious and think about those things. But otherwise, he has a lot of potential, but you just want to make sure that you're understanding him. All of our purple-coated dogs would do best in a dog-savvy home. He could be adopted for a fee of $92.50. This is Apollo, and he's a handsome fawn and white pit bull mix. He's about 2 years old. Apollo is incredibly affectionate. I've witnessed this myself, and a lot of the staff and volunteers have written reports that say he just will come right up and he wants to be petted and loved on and be close to you, which is really super sweet. He is another one of our purple color-coded dogs. Apollo has been, great with people, and he's been great with other dogs his size, but he has a high prey drive, so he cannot go to a home that has any small animals, any cats, or any small dogs. You also would need to be vigilant, when he's outside, making sure he doesn't get a hold of squirrels and birds and chipmunks and those types of things, just because of his high prey drive. We are also looking for children to be 13 and up in Apollo's home. He was brought to us because there was an issue with smaller animals in the home, but he has been around other dogs. He's been around children that are 14 and up. The previous owner, again, reiterates that he's very loving, very cuddly. He does know some commands. He knows come, he knows sit, he knows down, that he's been working on with our staff here. We have several behavior reports saying, he's such a great dog. He was a little shy at first, and then just spend a little bit of time with him. Over the course of 3 reports from one person, he went from being a little nervous to eagerly anticipating going out and spending some time with that person. He does need work on keeping his kennel clean. He's friendly and excited. Because he's friendly and excited, he can be difficult to leash up sometimes. It says here that he's difficult to walk, but like with Tammy, he walked in really nicely. Sometimes it's just that initial desire to get outside, and then once they're outside, they walk pretty nicely. No issues with food aggression, but he is intense about his toys. So he doesn't want to give up the toy. He will body block, he'll freeze a little bit. So when he has his toys, you want to make sure that if you want to take something away from him, it's something that's inappropriate, he shouldn't have, that you learn to trade with him. So something of a higher value, getting him focused on that. With toys, it's usually another, like an inappropriate object, an appropriate toy, or with food, or taking and giving him food instead. So really working on trading and knowing how to do that safely, which is another reason why it's good to have older children in the home with him. He loves to be petted, as we kind of already talked about. So he has a few things to work on, but overall he's a very sweet, very affectionate dog. You just want to make sure that yours is the right home for him. He's 2 years old, so he would be adopted for that fee of $92.50. You can come in and visit with Apollo or any of our adoptable dogs 6 days a week. So the visiting hours are going to be Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 10 to 5, Wednesday and Thursday from 12 to 8, and on Saturdays from 10 to 4. We hope that you will come in and visit some of our animals. We've been doing a great job this summer adopting them into homes, but there's always more to fill those spaces. So if you're looking to add a furry friend to your household, definitely come in and visit. We are located at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. We hope that you'll tune in again next week as we introduce you to more of FCAC's adoptable pets.